I guess the reason I got into fly fishing is because the challenge level for fly fishing was amazing. So I would suck up any article I could read of anybody fly fishing to try to gain as much knowledge as I could. I used to rifle hunt. I'm a bow hunter. I used to spin fish. I'm a fly fisherman because I think I'm getting the maximum out of all the sports, and I'm still like a little kid when I'm out on the water, and I'm a predator when I'm going after the fish. I focus, and that's part of the fun for me. That's part of the excitement, is that getting them to bite, trying to trick them, changing flies, changing leader, changing lines, standing, different. But bottom line is, it's all about presentation. It's how you put whatever you're offering to the fish, and we have it down pretty much to a science now. Back in '83, I came out with our Jim Teeny lines, and we have actually changed fly fishing forever. You could fish deep water, fast water, surface, from our floating lines to our sink tips to our T-series integrated lines. It allowed people that had not really been good fly casters to make the distance and make better presentations. Our choice was to try to keep everything American made that we could, and we're pretty proud of that. Back in May of 1962, we were up at Oregon's East Lake, and I designed this fly and my dad said, why don't you, I just showed him some flies. He goes, yeah, they're pretty, but I don't think they'll catch any fish. He says, why don't you just make something ugly? So I ran back downstairs and laid all my material out, and the ringneck pheasant tail feather was the ugliest feather that I had to tie a fly with. Not knowing what I could do with it, I put a number 8 hook in the vise, and I stripped off some of the fibers, tied it in on the back, and then I thought, well, I got to make a body, so I wrapped it around and made the body, and I thought, well, I got all these tips, just bend them under so they'd be like, wings or legs or feelers, and that was the origination of the teeny nymph, and I went on my first cast to the North Shore where the big high bluffs are. We hiked around and went down the shale, got to the shoreline, put my rod together, tied one of the flies on in my first cast. I hooked in my opinion then, was a really big rainbow, and it was probably between 5 and 6 pounds. And that was the biggest trout I had hooked to that date. I got so excited I held on to my reel handle. When he wanted to run, I didn't let him, and I watched him swim away. So, that was a good start. I started working at Albertsons, and I did that for 2.5 years. And then I owned and operated the Academy Theater in Montevella in Portland. And it was the last year of the 6 years that I had the Academy Theater that I first ventured into the fly fishing. And I didn't really know, because this fly was so good, and anywhere we went, the teeny nymph, that we kept it a secret for 9 years. And then we were out on the Olympic Peninsula, and some of the people we were fishing with were attorneys from Portland. And my buddies, they said, Jimmy, you got to share your pattern, and maybe you can patent it. And I didn't know, so I went and I talked to them, to Ken Clark West, and he goes, yeah, come see me. He said, we'll see. Is it different? I said, well, it's really different. I make the whole fly with one feather. That launched me into it with encouragement from other people. I had no idea. Oh, my dad and I, Fred Teeny, we were best friends. My first deer, my first salmon, my first steelhead, my first chucker, my first pheasant. You can think of all those great my first were all with my dad. And my dad loved the outdoors. He loved fishing and hunting and golf, and he just did a lot of things. But what I'm really proud of, he wasn't a fly fisherman and he wasn't a bow hunter. And I got him into fly fishing and to bow hunting, before he drowned on the Sandy River. So.
Yeah, Jim and I have been a team, and we love working together. We have done that for 43 years, working together. I started tying flies for Jimmy, and that turned into having to go on the stream and using them. And we've just been a great team. I'm more the organized one, and he's the one that's out in front of, doing his deal, which he does better than anybody I know. We're so family oriented and have always been, and that's where our heart is. And so anytime we can get on the water with our family, it's really exciting. I love seeing all the women on the river and the young girls too, because they are so comfortable. They learn, they want to learn, so they really listen. When you have a casting class, they pick it up, they got it. And it's exciting to see, and to see mothers and daughters on the stream. And my granddaughter, 2 summers ago, she said, "Grandma, you used to be my mentor in shopping. You are now my mentor in fly fishing." And I helped her catch some really nice fish, so it was awesome.
It's not always been a smooth road. I've been shot at, and but now I've just let it go. But I don't care anymore. It's not that I don't care anymore, but it doesn't bother me, is what I mean. And Donna, you've seen me change. I always take everything really personal to heart. Oh God, how can somebody say that? They don't even know me or whatever. And but I'm not a selfish person. I guarantee you that. When we go fishing, if somebody has a question for me on the river and asks, I stop fishing and I help them. I would like people to know about me, that I have a good heart. I'm willing to take the time out on the stream. Just a minute.
Sorry. This is the person that I think people don't see. And this is the guy that I think my brother and I, this is what we wanted to do this for. I think there are a lot of assumptions that get made and connections that get drawn, and I don't think they're all fair.
Can't tell you how many times I handed somebody a fly. They go catch their first steelhead right next to me. They're just like, it's just, it's electric. It's awesome. Well, in the future, Donna and I, we want to help, like with Project Healing Waters for disabled vets, Casting for Recovery, women, with recovering from breast cancer. We'd like to be able to give back, and that's what we really want to do. We want to be able to give back and to help people along their journey in their life, and we want to bring more youth. We need to bring more youth into our sport, and I don't mean just our sport, just fly fishing. So we need to bring them in so they can share a campfire. They can go hiking in the mountains. They can go hunting with their mom and dad, or they can go fishing with their mom and dad, or their best friends. This is what we want to do. And we have 6 beautiful grandchildren, and I can tell you they all fly fish. There's so much more to the world that a lot of people are not getting. And if we can help that in many, many ways, we'll be richly rewarded too.